Hey everybody, how you doing out there? Get a lot of emails asking me about the types of nunchucks I've used and how many I own, stuff like that. I own a lot of nunchucks. Way too many to even show. Maybe a small fraction of everything that I've made in the past and bought. Uh, I've had everything from acrylic nunchucks. These used to light up different colors, red and green or red and blue. I don't even remember anymore. Start on the end here. Foam chucks. I use these when I'm training people. Electrical tape, really tightly woven down so that if you get hit, you don't feel it, and you can do all the advanced moves with these. Even my little girl has a set of nunchucks. She's 2 currently. She'll be 3 in a few months, and as soon as she turns 3, she'll be on her way to use these as well. This is probably one of the oldest ones I've had. This is one of the first pair that I created with my design that I use, with the handle up top. Most nunchucks that you buy today have the handles on the bottom. Completely useless. Down here does absolutely nothing when all your control is up here. So this is one of the very first pairs. These nunchucks here are probably 35 years old. I'll push more towards a 30-year-old point. I just don't remember when I made them, but I was in my teens at the time. And one of the very first pairs that I made. They came off of a broom handle. It was an oak broom handle at the time, and it was just about an inch, 15/16 wide, and I cut them up and they worked absolutely perfectly. So this was kind of the very first design that I made with the handles up top. I've even played around with octagonal, the Octagon, planed them all by hand, burned them, took a drill bit with a grinding wheel on top and burnt the wood right down into it. So it gives you that nice burnished look to it. And then I painted a few of them, airbrush, drilled them. Nice, but they just didn't work for me. It wasn't something that I absolutely loved, but you know, I enjoy making them. Another set, once again, the handles are up towards the top where you have all your control, and I was looking for that chrome look with these back in the day. These are probably 25, close to 30 years old as well. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, these two are pretty close, and one I painted the chrome look, which is faded by now. You can see in the middle where the handle is, there's some chrome left, but it's worn off over the years. And I believe these two were a set. They were part of the same handle, and one I left natural, the other I chromed out. So yeah, still functional 30 years later. There they are. One of the first sets that I've made. The good old steel telescopic chucks. Very heavy. Carry them with you. Put them on a belt. You can carry them. Of course, they're illegal. You will be arrested if you caught with them. But for self-defense, you hit somebody with a pair of these, they are going down and probably will not get up again. So be very careful. Even if you're training with steel nunchucks, I do not recommend it. You can get hurt very badly or even killed. I don't recommend training with these. But I have them. They're here. The famous rattans. You can tell the rattan wood. Little burns in them. I've actually carved grooves in mine, try to get that whistle effect when you're swinging them, so that you hear that noise on the movies. Yeah, that's just add-in. You can't make that happen. I've tried everything. But yeah, I've got them. Super lightweight. You hit with these, you're probably gonna laugh. They're not very heavy or dense at all, but you're not gonna hurt anybody very badly with these. good old tapered chucks. Now these I've modified a bit. I actually I stick lights in these LEDs, and the lights come out right here, so I stuff it in, and the lights, I don't have them now, they gotta put batteries in, but I've actually drilled out a hole in them. But these are the dinosaur chucks, as a good buddy of mine, Lynn Borden, would say. They're tapered on top, and he jokes about people using the dinosaur chuck, and rightfully so. I mean, they're so heavy, and the width of them up top, you have to move so much volume of air just to swing these that they're really non-functional. To hit somebody with these and hurt anybody or do any damage, you're not really going to do much damage with these. But as you can see, I buy pairs of everything. And my good friend Lynn Borden is a master in his own. He specializes in pro chucks. And the difference with his pro chucks are the balance point, the weight, the attachment of how he has them. I'll let him explain them, but I don't have him here today, but I wish he was. But he's very good at what he does, and he uses the pro chucks. These go back, way back. Probably one of the first pair that I've imprinted on. And I don't mean imprint by the American flag. I mean imprint by level 4. You get to a certain point when you're working with nunchucks that you can imprint upon your nunchucks. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but if I was to hand these nunchucks to someone who was at my level, at level 4, you can learn from the nunchucks. They would take over, and you can learn quite a bit. It's called spiritual imprinting, and imprinting on weapons was something that only the highest of martial artists did back in the hundreds of years ago, back in the centuries. They really taught about imprinting, and they took their martial arts so seriously, like we do today, a few of us do today, that we've learned to imprint upon our nunchucks a piece of ourselves, so that when you hand these down to your kid, they were supposed to learn from them as well. And that's what that's all about. But that's all a part of level 4 training, and it's out there. Very, very few practitioners. I'm one of them, but you're not going to find too many out there, though. But yeah, this is very old, these chucks. They go back about 25 years, and as you can see, I actually made these, and I used car paint. I figured I'd have a nice gloss black finish. I primed them, and then I used an acrylic sealer over them. Wrong move, very bad. Over the years, when you hit them together, they would chip, and the paint was so hard that they would flake off and chip off. So you can see the red primer underneath. These things have taken a beating over the years, but I'll never get rid of them. And hopefully I can hand these down to my daughter when she's ready, and she'll be able to hold on to these for the rest of her life, or maybe pass them on to her kids when they're old enough. But yeah, these they're approximately 25 years old, so they're not too shabby, but they are getting very old. And then we come to the pair today. As you can see, from 25 years ago, the way I made them is almost identical to the way I make them today. It's similar. I've just refined the way I make the grooves in the nunchucks up top so that it's a little more balanced. It's not as deep anymore and not as wide, so it's very symmetrical and very well balanced. Now these, I've been using this same pair now for, these are about, I guess, 15 years, maybe going on just over 15 years now. They were the replacements for these that I've used. Those were my tournament chucks. I used them when I was in tournaments back in the day. And then once I started teaching and stuff, I have these pair that I train with. And this is what I use today. And you'll see in all my videos, you'll see these chucks. These are the ones that I use. and pretty much you can make these. You go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you can buy 1-inch oak. I like the oak. It's the hardwood is very workable. Splinters a little bit, so you got to sand them down and you got to paint them or do some type of finish. I've got some natural wood color ones, but the oils and grease, dirt from your hands gets on them and makes them look like crap. It's really not worth it. So I recommend that you paint them. But these have been imprinted on, and once again at level 4. So these are currently the ones that I use today, and that's my collection. That's what I have right there. A lot of Nunchucks. You know what? I got one more pair worth noting here. Titanium. I've been hand carving these for years now. These are going to be my titanium Nunchucks. This will be a first, probably. Right here. If I was to sell these, I'd probably have a price of about 200 grand for each of them. For each pair, I'm going to be making 2 pairs. But titanium Nunchucks. It's very hard to work with, and I'm doing everything by hand. So it's taking me a very long time to actually get the mold, get everything the way I want it, put the grooves in where I want them. So drill a hole and get them exactly how I want them. So almost there. Probably going to take me another year or so to actually get them complete, but I'll have 2 pairs of titanium. These are solid titanium. These are hollow steel. These weigh more than the titanium, and if you get hit with these, you're never getting up again. So it goes to show, be careful with the metallic, aluminum, the steel, titanium, anything that you use. This is probably the only titanium Nunchucks in the world. So hoping to get these done fairly soon. It might take me about a year, maybe another year or so. I'll have these done. But carving them by hand, very time consuming. It's very hard to work with this type of metal. But that's it. Small fraction of my collection here. And I have a lot. But thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.